Coming up, a look into the Loyola men's soccer team first ranked win of the season. We have your highlights.
Plus, a look into Loyola's top performing athletes of the week.
And to all my Swifties, you'll want to stay tuned for this one. Our reporters will discuss Taylor Swift's impact on the NFL.
I'm Caroline Lyngen.
And I'm Vanessa Hoxha.
And all this and so much more.
Rambler Sports Locker begins now. There is just so much good news going around. I mean, the Loyola teams are doing phenomenal. I can't really say the same for the Bears, but the Loyola teams are. The women's volleyball team is on a 7-game win streak after a 10-game losing streak. This is good news. This is good news.
All good news. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to shake it off this week and hear about these fearless teams.
Well, here we have the Rambler Rundown with Amelia Villhauer giving you the recap of all the Loyola games you may have missed. Amelia?
We're back with the Rambler Rundown. Let's dive right into the action from the past week. The men and women's cross-country team ran the Nuttycombe, Wisconsin Invitational, where the men's team placed 29th out of 36 teams, and the women's team placed 6th out of 13. The women's volleyball team is on fire and is now on a 7-game winning streak after beating George Mason not once, but twice last weekend. The women's soccer team headed to Dayton and fell short in a 2-0 loss, while men's soccer beat St. Louis at home in a final score of 3-1. The men and women's golf team had a 2-day tournament in Kettering, Ohio for the Dayton Flyer Invitational, where the women's team placed 3rd out of 11 teams on the first day and 8th out of 11 overall. The men's placed 11th out of 13 on the first day and placed 10th out of 13 overall. That's all for now, and we'll see you next time. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Amelia Villhauer.
Thanks, Amelia. Here to preview the Chicago Bulls season is Nate Keough.
Fresh off an exhilarating 21-22 season and a playoff appearance led by a swarm of new and exciting free agents, your Chicago Bulls finished 40-42, finishing 10th in the East and missing the playoffs. Sad but true, the Bulls took a major step backwards in the 2022-23 NBA season. The only question remaining is, where do we go from here? Well, let's focus on the offseason first. This summer, the Bulls focused on retaining their starting players rather than finding replacements. Veteran center Nikola Vucevic signed a 3-year, $60 million extension back in June, and guard Kobe White also signed a 3-year extension, his worth $36 million. Additionally, center Andre Drummond opted into his player option for this year, worth $3.36 million. The Bulls also added some bench depth, signing former Milwaukee Bucks guard Javon Carter to a 3-year deal, and former Phoenix Suns forward Torrey Craig to a 2-year deal. But outside of these moves, the Bulls were fairly quiet this offseason for a team that was right on the cusp of the playoffs. It's clear the Bulls front office still believes in the core group from the past 2 seasons, led by All-Stars Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. With the NBA season tipping off next week, the Bulls will return from a disappointing year, hoping to recapture the magic of the 21-22 season that surprisingly clinched them the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. The Bulls' first game will be Wednesday night at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tip-off will be at 7 p.m. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Nate Keough.
And hopefully we can see that 2021 6th seed team again. Thanks, Nate. In more basketball news, the Atlantic 10 held its media day this past Tuesday. Head coach of the men's basketball team, Drew Valentine, and senior forward Philip Alston flew out to Brooklyn to the Barclays Center. It was then announced that Alston was named the A10 preseason all-conference second team. This will be Alston's second year with the Ramblers, and he led the team in points, rebounds, and blocks last season. Alston averaged 14.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, and a total of 33 blocks just last season. Additionally, the preseason poll was announced, and Loyola was predicted to finish 8th overall. They were voted higher than last year's season's 5th seed, George Mason, with a record of 11-7 in conference play, and George Washington University with a 10-8 record. We can't wait for the Ramblers to show out this season, but as their season begins, another one comes to an end. Here's Natalie King with a wrap-up of Loyola's cross-country team.
The Ramblers cross-country team ended their regular season at the Nuttycombe Invitational in Madison, Wisconsin on Friday. The men's team, led by graduate student Chris Devaney, placed 29th overall. Fresh off winning the Atlantic 10 Performer of the Week title, Devaney placed 22nd in the men's championship 8K with a time of 23 minutes and 53.3 seconds. Jason Clayton had the second best time on the Ramblers men's team with 24 minutes and 30.9 seconds. Francois Guillot took third and set a personal record with a time of 24 minutes and 39.6 seconds. The Loyola women's team took sixth in the Women's Open 6K. Grace Kuhn led the women's team and placed 16th overall with a personal record time of 21 minutes and 58.2 seconds. Delia McDade-Clay claimed the second spot on the team with a time of 22 minutes and 17.6 seconds. And Julia Isham finished third with a time of 22 minutes and 22.9 seconds. The Loyola men's and women's cross-country teams will compete for titles in the Atlantic 10 Championships in Dayton on October 28th. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Natalie King.
Thanks, Natalie. I, for one, can't wait to see our Ramblers compete for that A10 championship. Moving to another team headed for A10 success is the men's soccer team, who recently upset number 25 ranked St. Louis University. Here with the story is Samantha Martinez.
On October 14th, the Loyola men's soccer team beat St. Louis and are now ranked third in the Atlantic 10 Conference. The win comes after a loss to the St. Louis team last year in the Atlantic 10 Championship game. The St. Louis men's soccer team is a rival to the Loyola Ramblers and were ranked 25th last year. The Loyola Ramblers beat the St. Louis team with a score of 3-1. Oscar Dueso put up that first goal in the 17th minute. Peter Jančić scored a second goal in the 29th minute. And in the last minute of play, Julian Cisneros sealed the deal by putting up a third goal. Next up, the Loyola men's soccer team will play at the University of Rhode Island on the 21st of October at 6 p.m. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Samantha Martinez.
Thanks, Samantha. Moving from football to football, the Buffalo Bills have faced adversity early in the season. Here to give us the story is Chloe Morrissey.
The Buffalo Bills faced another gut-wrenching moment during their Week 6 matchup against the New York Giants. Running back Damian Harris went down with a neck injury and was taken by ambulance to the hospital Sunday night. Since then, Bills head coach Sean McDermott says that Harris has full movement in his neck and is, quote, heading in a good direction, end quote. But this moment hit too close to home for Bills fans and players, as past emotions were brought out watching the Bills number 3 and now 22 exit the field. Last year, the NFL world was bracing after Bills safety Damar Hamlin collapsed mid-game and was given CPR before being taken to the hospital. This scare sent waves through the NFL as many looked to the league for answers on how to prevent another situation like that from happening. This has raised arguments on what steps the NFL can take in preventing serious injuries, and there is one area of concern that stands out: turf. After Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles playing on MetLife Stadium's turf last month, NFL Players Association Executive Director Lloyd Howell called for team owners to convert their stadiums to grass. But Rodgers' injury was not an isolated incident. The NFLPA conducted a study and found that since 2015, there are higher injury rates on turf compared to grass every season. While many think money is the issue or the difficult upkeep of natural grass, especially in places with colder months, there doesn't seem to be a simple answer to this issue. We want to know what you think the NFL should do. Should they make the switch to natural grass? Let us know across our social media. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Chloe Morrissey.
Thanks, Chloe. Yeah, just a true scare for the Bills fans once again and the Bills team. But we want to hear from you. Will the change make a difference and ensure a little bit more safety on the field? Be sure to let us know your thoughts. Speaking of the NFL and change, see, I'm already getting there with the Taylor Swift references. But for weeks, the center of the NFL's attention has been focused on Swift and Kansas City Chief tight end Travis Kelce. By the way, National Tight Ends Week. Shout out Travis Kelce and all those who celebrate.
Shout out. He's got the style. He has no bad blood.
That was
he's
really
gorgeous.
Good.
Thank you. And he's everyone's wildest dreams. Taylor's definitely ready for it and for a beautiful love story.
Oh my, you were just really on top of the references.
you.
I gotta get it together. But now William Bazzone joins me alongside other reporters to discuss Taylor's impact on the NFL.
Oh, hi, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us from the anchor desk. Hello, everybody else and everybody watching. Welcome into this week's Ramble. And I'm your host, as always, William Bazzone. And as you can see, I'm wearing maroon. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they started dating. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying here. The relationship has taken the NFL by storm. And, of course, the Chiefs have had a nationally televised game at least 5 of the past 6 weeks. It's getting kind of old. Are people enjoying it? I don't know. There's a lot of differing opinions on this. Like I said last week, one of the biggest rambles ever, and we're starting it off. Bella, I see the shirt there. Very special. Thank you for wearing it. Tell me what you think about this whole Taylor Swift-Travis Kelce relationship.
I would love to. Taylor Swift is the best thing to happen to the NFL, viewership-wise, ever. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Very, very clear and to the point.
Yes.
No, nothing else about that. And then we'll
concise.
go right down the line here with Elizabeth Winchester. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Well, obviously Taylor Swift has had a phenomenal impact on the NFL. Not only has Travis Kelce's jerseys gone up in sale by 400%.
400%?
Yes, 400%,
That's
and
crazy.
specifically their women's size. So it's not just the men's, it's women that are buying these jerseys. And also, she has just, like, the Chiefs game that they played, I think it was 3 weeks ago, against the Chicago Bears, was the most watched NFL show on the network, on any network.
Is that true?
It is true. And it was also the most watched game among women aged 12 to 49. So she is bringing in a market of people that have not been able to be tapped by the NFL. And she's tapping them just simply because of the possibility that she might show up.
That is a very true point, and that was a very big game. It's the first game where their relationship kind of came out. But we'll switch it over here to Kirsten Richardson. Thank you again for coming on this week. Taylor Swift, what's going on? What's going on with her relationship? We got to hear about it.
Well, I am not a fan of it. It was cute the first 2 weeks, but we got to move on. You know, this relationship situation, whatever this is, it's just irrelevant. I mean, we got bigger, better storylines that's coming up. You know, I'm hearing about the Miami Dolphins, and I want to hear more about them. But all I can think about really is, and all I can hear about is Taylor Swift and Travis, Taylor Swift and Travis, and it's like I'm ready to move on. You know, I'm just ready to move on. I know you guys are ready to move on, so that's my take.
All right, Vanessa Hoxha, any final opening statements to add to everything else that's been said so far?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Just like she said, we're done. You know, it was cute, we did it, it was fun, but now it's overdone. Now it's you're dragging it. You're mooching on this whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing. Listen, I'm a stan. I'm a Swiftie. I'm not here to say I don't like to see Taylor Swift in the crowds on watching my favorite sport. You know?
Absolutely.
That's not the problem. The problem is the changing of the NFL bio, the Twitter
that I think is huge.
Profile picture. I mean, that's a little much. And not to mention, almost every touchdown, every big play, whether it's Travis Kelce or Isaiah Pacheco or whoever it may be on the team, they show Taylor right away. It just doesn't make sense. That's like going to Taylor Swift's concert, and every time she hits a high note or every time she finishes a song, they're panning to Travis Kelce in the crowd. Personally, if I'm at a concert, I'm not looking for Travis Kelce in the crowd. I'm looking for Isaiah Pacheco's touchdown dance, and I want to see it in full effect. And yeah, one shot of Taylor or one shot of any celebrity is fine, but don't drag it. Just leave it where it is.
That's a very good point. She's not the offensive coordinator. She's not the one calling the plays.
She's not.
She might want to think she's the one who called the plays, maybe secretly here, but at the end of the day, she is just another person in the crowd. The NFL is a game full of celebrities, and we've got some final points here. Bella Giudice, we'll swing it back to you here. Anything else you want to add to what's been said?
Yeah, of course. So there's other things that have been overdone by the by sports media. One in particular is LeBron James, when he's commenting on stuff, is like overdone and saturated on Instagram and Twitter or X. But the fact that it's like a woman and Taylor Swift being oversaturated, then everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so over it. I'm so over it.
But is there a difference between an athlete and a singer on sports?
I think another thing we have to consider, though, is it's not about hating Taylor Swift.
No.
And like Vanessa said, it's just about, like, is this getting overdone? Like, I don't really see why that might be an issue. Can you expand a little more on it?
Because James comments on things that have nothing to do with his sport.
That's
true.
So
Taylor Swift is just showing up to a game. It's the NFL media that's overdoing it. It's not like her being there. She's not doing anything wrong.
Of course, yeah.
So.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that's a fair point, but still just something to consider. We're not saying we hate Taylor Swift. Nothing like that.
Live on Taylor.
Hey, any other final points from either you, Kirsten, or Elizabeth?
Yeah, I mean, it's to what Bella said. Would we be saying the same thing if it was a guy? Also, it's Travis Kelce's girlfriend. It's Travis Kelce's girlfriend. It's not just because she's Taylor Swift. It's Travis Kelce's girlfriend that they're panning to. Also, so what if they show a 5-second clip? There's still multiple minutes of the game show that is going to be showing. So it's not that big of a deal. And also for the NFL, I understand why they're milking this, because as I already stated, they are tapping a market that they haven't successfully been able to tap before. Don't get me wrong, girls like sports. I'm a girl, I like sports. But let's be honest, most people don't watch NFL sports if you're a girl. It's whatever you want to call it, that's the facts. So because Taylor Swift is now at these games, or potentially might be at these games, they are pulling in so many more audience members that they hadn't been able to do. And sure, if Taylor breaks up, if they stop showing Taylor,
yeah, I was just
what'll happen if they break up?
Touch on that.
What happens?
Yeah, some people will probably definitely leave when Taylor leaves, but also people that did start showing and watching it because of Taylor will maybe
That's
stick
exactly
around.
right. I think that's a really great point now to say, like, you're bringing a lot of people that wouldn't have watched the game. We're kind of running a little short on time. We'll go to you quickly, Bella. But
really quickly, I just wanted to correct Elizabeth. 50% or 49% of women do watch football, but I think she was trying to say is younger.
Yeah.
Girls.
Yes, that's also very true.
I think my final thought and my only concern is there's a possibility of them breaking up. I mean, just realistically, there is.
And I agree.
And let's say now that they're broken up, all the girls that stood her and watched the NFL because of her are going to stop watching. All those girls who have, let's say, boyfriends or whoever it may be, they're going to get them to stop watching. You know, Swifties ride deep. We know this. It's I'm not watching, you're not watching. Travis Kelce canceled. That's just how it is, and that's my only fear. If we're overdoing the whole Taylor Swift thing,
that could be a potential
only fear.
And it's just like it looks like it's a great idea now, but we'll see. Kirsten, anything else you want to add?
I just believe that this is just a big example of how the NFL wants to treat celebrities and how they want to put them in a pedestal. I feel that the NFL is not doing such a good job with just saying, hi guys, there's a celebrity at the game. There's like a repetition as telling the viewers, hey guys, reminder, this celebrity is here, and we don't need to keep doing it. And I feel like this situation with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is a perfect example of the NFL just needing to improve that. And it's better for the viewers at home and the viewers watching live.
That's a very good point. And the NFL is full of celebrities. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts, and we don't know what this will look like in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And, even this week, they just were seen holding hands for the first time. It was a private relationship, and now it's officially official. Whew, all right, everybody take a deep breath. That was quite the ramble. Thank you all for coming on. This was a great discussion. Stay tuned next week for our big Halloween ramble. But in the meantime, follow us on social media. Form your own opinions. Tell us what you think. We'll swing it back to the anchors to close out the show. Thank you guys again.
Thanks, everyone. In other news, the women's club volleyball gold team recently won the Bulldog Brawl tournament held in Indianapolis, Indiana. The gold team placed first overall, going 6-0, defeating Indiana University A in 2 sets. The women's maroon team placed 5th overall out of 13 teams. Catch them in action November 4th at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And that wraps up this episode of Rambler Sports Locker.
To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on X, TikTok, and Instagram at Loyola RSL, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Caroline Lyngen.
And I'm Vanessa Hoxha.
We'll see you next week, and don't forget to turn off the lights.